Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome. Dawes County Board of Commissioners work session. Today is February the 6th, 2025. Appreciate everybody that is here in attendance as well as those that are with us online. Before we get started, I have two items that are on the new business agenda for the work session that we'll be removing. Number 5, which is the presentation of emergency service request to conduct a raffle fundraiser. And number 15, presentation of recommendation for deputy county clerk appointment. She wasn't able to be with us today due to an emergency for her husband. And so we'll move that to the next meeting for her introduction as well. And then number 5 had to do with some legalities in reference to that. And so we moved those two off. So we'll move right into new business. First up, we have presentation of request to accept highway enforcement of aggressive traffic grant continuation for FY 2025. And Mr. Greg, I guess you're doing that. It says Sheriff's Office, but that's you. Come on.
This is our HEAT grant, which is the highway, well, you said highway enforcement of aggressive traffic. It's through the Governor's Office of Highway Safety. We've had this grant since October of 2020, and this is simply a continuation of that. However, each year the portion that the government sends us is reduced, right? So this year the state portion is 51,903 and some change, with a local match, if you will, 77,855 and some change. So we're simply asking that you all accept that, please.
Okay. Questions for Greg? If you want that breakdown, that's 40/60.
Yeah.
Okay. Questions for Greg? Thank you, sir.
Sure.
All right, and Greg, you got this one too, I guess. Presentation of request to accept FY 2025 K-9 grant.
Right. This one is, we've been involved with this grant since 98, 99. It's again, a continuation. The grant award is $112,204, and it's been that way for quite some time. Good news is we've been notified that we may actually get an increase in that for the next cycle. So I'm excited to hear that. They're talking about maybe even doubling it. So that will,
awesome.
that'll help. So just asking for a continuation for this year.
The good news about this one, it has no match.
Yes, no match.
Questions for Greg?
Does that have limitations on what it can be used for on the
You-
K-9?
Yes, sir. It's using it for salaries. Sometimes they'll send a notice out that will tell us that you can use it for fuel sometimes. They did that a couple of years ago, but it's mostly for salary at this point.
Can it be used for insurance for those dogs?
I don't think so. I can check into that, but I'm pretty sure it's just allocated salaries, commissioner salaries, but I can find that out for you.
Other questions for Greg? Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
All right. Do not see her, but next up we have we'll skip that one for right now because I do not see the tax commissioner in the room at the moment. Greg, if you see Nicole out there, tell her to come in. So we'll move on down to number 4, presentation of Family Connection 2025 Physical Agent Requests. Family Connection Coordinator Rebecca Bliss. Rebecca.
Good afternoon. Thank you for having me. My name is Rebecca Bliss. I'm the coordinator for Dawson County Family Connection, and I'm presenting our request for the Board of Commissioners, Dawson County government to remain our fiscal agent. You've been our fiscal agent since 1999, and your work and our relationship is greatly appreciated. I hope that you are very proud of the work that Family Connection does for our community. The relationship that we have with you greatly affects our ability to serve our community. And it is my hope that you will approve our request to be our fiscal agent for the next fiscal year, which will begin July the 1st of this year and will end June 30th of next year.
Questions for Rebecca? I saw where, Rebecca, that you had requested it be approved today.
Yes,
Is there a reason?
Yes, sir, because Department of Human Services is Johnny on the spot, and they're already creating contracts as we speak because our current contract ends June the 30th.
Okay.
And so our fiscal agent documents have to be in by February the 17th.
Okay. All right. Other questions for Rebecca? Y'all good with moving that? Okay. Thank you, ma'am. Still no Nicole. All right, so we'll move on down to number 6. Okay. Presentation of FY 2025 Legacy Link Contract Addendum Number 1, Senior Services Director Dawn Johnson. Ms. Dawn.
Good afternoon, Chairman, Board of Commissioners. I am here today to present our first addendum. For those of you that have been around with us a long time, Legacy Link will send us addendums every year, and 90% of the time, or usually 100% of the time, it is for extra money. They're giving us an additional $10,000, and this money is mostly for our respite care, which is our memory care program. And we currently have 5 seniors in that program, so we are full. So we can definitely use that money to offset taxpayer expense. The rest will go for any meals that we can count in another funding source. So it's free money, basically.
Questions for Dawn? Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Chairman.
All right, next up, we have presentation of intergovernmental agreement between Dawson County and the city of Dawsonville concerning improvements to Shoal Creek Road. Public Works Director Robert Drury. Robert.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chairman, Commissioners, and welcome aboard, Commissioner Turquette. This actually goes back to a settlement and release agreement the county agreed with the city of Dawsonville back in May of 2021 as a result of the SPLOST vote. In that agreement, it obligated the county to repave Shoal Creek Road from the historic courthouse all the way out to 136. We had another road on that agreement list as well as Burke Creek Road, if you recall, and we had an IGA with the city on that one as well. The repaving, we all mutually agreed when I first got here that repaving would probably take place either during or after the bridge work started. So we're at that point now. But we also agree that just a strict repaving of Shoal Creek Road is not sustainable. That road, it needs more than just a repaving. So we all kind of agreed an FDR, full depth reclamation, was the way to go with that project. So we started estimating some cost, and the city has agreed to pay the difference between the cost to repave and the cost to do an FDR within the city limits of Dawsonville. And we estimate that should not exceed, and it's still all estimates until we get bids, but not to exceed $450,000. So the IGA is drafted to structure that they would pay the difference between a repaving and the FDR. Not unlike what we did on Burke Creek Road, a little bit different. On Burke Creek Road, the city did not want to do an FDR, and so we just did a deep patch and a pave on their portion of Burke Creek Road. So this IGA was drafted, and my understanding is the city has approved it, and they have already signed it, and you probably have a copy of the signed agreement in your packet. So any questions?
Questions for Robert? Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much.
All right, next up, we have presentation of request to accept an Association of County Commissioners of Georgia County Intern Program Grant, Community Development, Angela Byers. Miss Angela.
Good afternoon, Chairman and Commissioners. Thank you I want to thank ACCG for this opportunity. So I'm here before you. I had submitted to have an intern for the Marshal's Office, which is now the Community Development. And it was approved January. So I'm here to ask that y'all will sign and approve the grant agreement. And just in a nutshell, it's for paying the intern. They would have to be hired in between May 1st, September 1st. They would be paid $15 per hour, and it's a maximum of 200 hours. ACCG would also pay, let me say, $15 per hour for 200 hours up to $3,000. They would also take care of the workers' compensation for $30 per intern, as well as FICA for $229.50. So that's pretty much the gist of what the agreement would be. And I would just like to ask that y'all would approve this so we can move forward.
Questions for Angela? And she has made a request to move it forward. tonight so that she can go ahead and get it in?
I did, but I did not realize the internship was only for 5 weeks. So if we don't do it tonight, it can be pushed on to the next
Okay.
meeting.
All right, so
I'll have plenty of time.
we'll just leave it to then. Okay.
Okay,
Thank
perfect.
you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Okay. All right. That off. Next up, we have presentation of proposed Eagle Scout project at Etowah River Canoe Launch. Park and Recreation Director Matt Payne. Matt.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, Commissioners, and thank you for the opportunity to come and speak to you again on behalf of the Recreation Department. Really one of those awesome days here with my first presentation. This is a young man who is going to be presenting to you in just a moment about an Eagle Scout project that he is working on. And so if I could have Luke Glockner, come on up, Luke. Luke is going to be coming to you and presenting to you his idea about a safety aspect of our canoe track between Highway 9 and Kelly Bridge. Luke is one of our high school kids here in Dawson County. This is one of the kids that we want to build our communities on. This is a good dude. So he's going to present to you. I would ask, as soon as he's done with speaking with you, if we can just get together just for a picture. We know that your presentation or this presentation won't be voted on for 2 weeks, but he can go ahead and turn in that picture with his application, and it is a big help to him. So if we could go ahead and get a picture very briefly after his presentation. Luke?
Hello, my name is Luke Lochner, and I'm a Life Scout in Troop 233. And as you know, I'm working with Mr. Payne on this project, and this project really consists of making mile marker signs that are going to be placed on each. It's going to start. Well, the project starts at the river park next to the park, and it goes all the way down to Kelly Bridge Road, as you may know, and it's 9 miles long. And I have a mile marker sign for each mile that will say the mile, estimated time to take out, and possibly GPS coordinates. And this will just help the river users not to get lost, and just for overall safety of everyone, and help guide people. So that's all.
Was this your idea?
Not originally, no. Mr. Payne made me aware.
That's super cool. I appreciate you coming here. I would not have came here in high school, so good for you.
Okay, thank you.
I wish that Troy was here because he could attest to how many times that they have to do rescues on the river because people put in a little too late, or they get to a certain point and they start panicking because they don't know where they are and they have to come and help them out. With these mile markers, it will bring up the safety aspect of our river quite a bit.
Without a doubt.
All
Great
right,
job.
if we'll get a picture right here, I'll take a picture, or Dad, if you want to come take a picture. They're gonna just. Oh, good job. I didn't even ask if there was any more questions for that, if there was anything else needed.
Couldn't hardly beat that.
Yeah, he knows, and I know that this vote will come in a couple of weeks, but in the meantime, he can go get ahead and get all of his enormous amount of paperwork done for an Eagle Scout project, which is a huge deal. So we're really, really proud to be working with Luke on this project.
Okay, next up, we have presentation of request to consider out-of-county rates for recreation programs. Matt, you've got that as well.
I do. In the December meeting with the Recreation Board, a great discussion was held about, I I want to use the correct words here, because I don't want to say a problem, but we do have some issue. Not only are we growing as Dawson County, but we get a lot of kids from, and rentals and participants from some of our surrounding counties. And what that does is it puts a strain on our resources. It puts a strain on our programs a little bit. Now, I want to be clear when I say the Recreation Department will take anybody. We want to, anybody who wants to sign up for youth, baseball, softball, whatever, you want to rent a pavilion, whatever, we want you to come in and rent with us. We want you to come in and participate with us at the Recreation Department. With that being said, we obviously feel, and I'm sure that this board does too, that our first priority should be our Dawson County residents. So what this looks like is this: when we have, I'll use youth basketball for the example because that's the program that we're just now finishing up. A participant comes, let's say you live in that Silver City area just across the line of Forsyth County. A participant comes to play with us, and again, we love them. We're glad that they come to play with us. But we charge around $70, $75 a participant, and then Forsyth County charges about $160, $165 for a participant. And even with the out-of-county fee that we have now, which is $40, we do have an out-of-county fee, which is $40 right now. Even with that, it is still much, much cheaper to come and play with us at Dawson County. That in itself puts a big strain on what we do and what we try to do. Again, we're not wanting to run anybody off. I don't want to use those words that we weren't trying to get rid of anybody, but we certainly want to have a small deterrent to try to get those folks back to their own entities and play with their own recreation departments inside their own county. So with that, the Recreation Board met in December, and we discussed this, and they have sent forth a recommendation that we raise that out-of-county fee to $100 for anything that we do, whether that's athletics, whether that's rentals on a pavilion, whether that's anything. It's an extra $100 if you're not a Dawson County resident to participate or sign up for anything with the Recreation Department.
When will this go into effect if it's passed?
This will go into effect after football registration, so it would be for our fall registration this year. Football is a non-issue because you have to be a Dawson County resident to play football. But as soon as we get done with that football registration, we're going to kick it in and we will start with our getting ready for our fall baseball, softball, and gosh, whatever else we got, volleyball, just millions of things. Yeah.
The, on our handout, it shows it's $25 out of county fee.
Is it 20? I was thinking 40. I was probably,
It's 25.
it's probably 25.
Yeah.
Even so, it's a lot less
And then
to come to play with us.
we contract out, I think, my understanding, the soccer program, does that get applied to that too, or is that completely separate?
That would be completely separate because that is a contract with UFA. They have a completely different contract. And then I think they pay us, gosh, don't hold me to this, and it's going to be in the minutes. I want to say they pay us $25 per child to come into play, but we don't have an out-of-county fee on it.
So I know you said that it's cheaper for them to come here, particularly if they live, close to the line. Does this equal up to what they have to pay if they're in Forsyth County?
It would pay, according to the current standing right now, it would be just a little bit more. It would add a little bit more for them to play with us rather than play in their own.
I think they pay 155 and we charged, I think like for basketball, I think it was 75. And
75
if you
plus
add
the
100, it
25.
would be 175.
So we want to make it to where it's a little bit of a deterrent, not a deterrent. Again, I don't want to use those words. We want people to come
I will
to
say this.
participate, but
We
we've
wanna-
got to take care of our people.
My daughter plays basketball. It was a lot having 8:30 games for a 9-year-old on a school night. And I know that that just comes with like the growth in general. I'm one of the ones that complained because I got but I also was getting a lot of complaints
Sure.
because we did have Forsyth County teams, we had coaches, and then there were some kids on the wait list that were Dawson County residents. So
Yes.
that was kind of a hard, parents were frustrated. But I will say that I do think it's a good thing that we have other kids because the kids in our community see each other a lot. They participate in a lot of things together. So to have that access to other kids and other families and, being a more diverse community, I do like that we allow them to come here. So I'm with you. I don't want to deter them, but I do think we have to do something to where we prioritize our residents and our kids, especially to be able to keep them in sports.
Yes, ma'am. Again, I don't want to use words like we're trying to run anybody off, but if we can take that number from X and take it down to S, it would help our resources a lot. Yes,
I like the
ma'am.
way but it's prioritizing really the taxpayers in Dawson County that are paying for the facilities. They should be prioritized above
sir.
somebody else.
Yes, sir.
I agree.
Other questions for Matt? Thanks, Matt.
You got me again, I think.
All right, so next up, we have presentation of IFB number 466-24, materials labor for War Hill Park Fishing Pier, Park and Recreation Director Matt Payne and Purchasing Manager Melissa Hawk. All right, you're up.
Thank you. Once again, it has been a while since I've spoken with you, so I thought I'd just try to get them all in at one night. Yes, this is IFB 466-24. This is for the replacement for the War Hill Fishing Pier. If you'll remember, I think it was in 2019, we tore the old pier out. It was in really, really bad shape. We had applied for a grant. To replace it. We got up to the very last moment of that grant and it fell through. Then we decided to put it on the master plan update that we were doing for War Hill Park. And as you know, that is probably still sitting on the desk at an admiral's office with the Corps of Engineers. I'm not sure where we are on that, to be quite honest, but we went back and looked and saw that we actually had permission to replace this pier before we did the master plan update. So we did have permission to replace this pier. So the SPLOST 7 resolution does include $200,000 for this project. And it has been approved by the Corps of Engineers, and as long as we stayed in that same footprint, and that's what we intend to do, is to keep the pier in the same footprint that it was. And we went through all the correct procedures for procurement on this particular bid. We did have two bids received. This is just an overlook to see where the pier is going to be. If you was ever out there before, you know where the pier was. It's in that same footprint. So if you're at the beach, it's just to the left of the beach. It goes out into the water. This will be a floating pier that it's not going to be on a fixed pylons, but it'll be kind of a floating pier. So it's going to be super, super nice. This was pictures of the old pier, served a great purpose, but it was in really, really bad shape. It was really time to take it down. The new pier is going to look more like this. And I may have used some different verbiage right there. Part of it, I think at the very start of it, it'll have a floating part where it goes in and out. But anyway, this is going to be a really, really nice fishing pier for us. Again, this goes into the scope of the work of this without getting into the weeds on it too much. It's going to be an aluminum fixed pier. The railings, it will have everything that it will need for everybody to do what they need to be doing on it. We did receive 2 bids on these. One bid was from C&W Development for $471,000. We received another one from Martin Docks at $212,050 or $212,500. So with that, we respectfully request for the board to accept the bid awarded to Martin Docks in the amount of $212,000 or $212,500, and we'll be utilizing SPLOST 7 for this project.
I have a quick question. On the old dock, that was a quick picture and I don't have my computer in front of me, but I think it was covered and it had didn't it have benches in there built in?
I think it was covered.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was covered. It was like a pavilion type cover.
Yeah, I don't know that it'll have a cover on it, but we will have the benches and we'll
Benches,
have the
okay.
little areas for the fishing areas. Yeah.
Okay.
Other questions for Matt?
Is that the grant that we got to the end on it? Was it still available or no? Not.
That was a bad scene.
That's what?
It didn't work out.
I don't know that terminology. I got to.
It was,
Dock or something.
Yeah, I was trying to find the most politically correct way to say it. Yes, we made it to the very final stages, and then it was determined that because we leased that property from the Corps of Engineers, we were now not eligible to get that. And that kind of threw us for a curveball a little bit. So that's why it backed us up this long.
Other questions?
Did we have any conversations with our federal folks, our federal elected officials to see if there's any other options?
No, sir.
Other questions for Matt? Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Next up, we have presentation of RFP 465-24, Phase 1 Environmental Assessment, Public Health Facility Purchasing Manager, Melissa Hawk. Melissa.
Good afternoon, everybody. I hope you're doing well tonight. So as we know, we're going to have a new facility, and it is part of the SPLOST 7 list for $2,500,000. The board has already put that money in our budget, so we don't have to worry about that part. But in this new CDBG grant, Community Development Block Grant, the manual states that no matter what the cost of a professional service or what funds comes from that professional service, we have to put it out as if it were going to be a very expensive project with an RFP, with evaluations, the whole 9 yards. So that's why we did what we had to do today. And this is part of the environmental review. That's also part of the project. The Georgia Mountain Regional Commission is doing most of the environmental, but they do not have staff to do a phase 1. So we had to put this out. All of the work is going to be conducted in accordance with the American Society for Testing and Materials. That standard number is E1527-5. Some of the items that they're going to have included in this report at the end will be the data on the historical use of the property. They're going to test for hazardous substance such as petroleum. They'll have radon levels and noise levels. There's other things involved, but this is just the kind of a gist of it. We opened this RFP January 17th this year. We received 2 proposals. Individual evaluations were done as usual. And once we opened the pricing and combined the technical, Mill Creek Environmental rated the highest at 86. The total cost to the county is $3,125. And that's why I prefaced this with why we came to you. I know y'all are not used to that. So, but here we are. And so the staff respectfully requests the board to accept the 2 proposals received, award a contract to Mill Creek Environmental in the amount of $3,125, utilizing that SPLOST 7 funds.
Questions for Melissa? And we need to move this forward, correct? So that you can keep it going?
That would be great. Mill Creek has told us that they could probably have this done between 7 to 10 days. But if we could move it on, then that would give them more time so that the Georgia Mountain Regional Commission can do their job and get this ready by April 5th to go into our application.
Yeah.
And this will give us 10 extra points, having this portion done now instead of at the end.
Y'all good with that? All right. Thanks, ma'am.
Thank you.
All right. So next up, we have presentation of an ordinance to provide for the terms of members of the Planning Commission. You're going to handle that?
Yes, Mr. Chairman. So this is a ordinance that our office prepared, which would amend the terms of the members of the Planning Commission so that they align with the term of the commissioner who has appointed that member of the Planning Commission. It's fairly self-explanatory here, but that's what it does in a nutshell. And if it's the will of the board, this could be moved forward for a public hearing process for adoption.
So we would. So y'all good with moving it forward so we can get to the public hearing? Okay. We will move that forward as well.
I mean, it would not move forward tonight. It would be moved forward to
I know.
advertise for public hearing. Yes, sir.
Yeah. We could move it forward to vote to advertise for a public hearing. Yeah. Okay. All right. Next up, we have presentation of Board Appointment Development Authority, Mike Libator, replacing Dennis Fedoric, term February 2025 through December 2028. So I will present that for y'all's consideration for our next meeting. All right, so move on. Did we ever get the tax commissioner? Oh, she's here. All right. All right, come on up here, Ms. Tax Commissioner. This is a presentation of updated tax commissioner resolutions. Ms. Nicole Stewart. Nicole.
Sorry, y'all. I got caught up with something.
Sure.
I'm sorry.
It's a get here when you can.
I know.
See where we prioritize.
I know. I was like, this is really important to show up late for.
Hopefully you don't want any money or anything.
You know,
I will say on a side note, we did have a ribbon cutting this morning for our kiosk. So thank you all so much. It was exciting. We had 3 people use it while we were there this morning. So it's done very well. This is for my resolutions. These are the same 4 that I've had, the other 2. I think Aaron actually wrote them last time. So they're the same exact ones. Do you want me to just go over it as a group or how do you want me to do
that's
it?
fine.
Okay.
Go over it as a group.
One of them is for performs the payment. So it's written for me that I accept cash, but I need a resolution saying I accept cash, check, credit, debit, online payments, all of that stuff. So that covers everything so that I can receive multiple different ways, their types of money. The other one is it allows me to do a refund if we have an obvious error, like if we've done an error, applied to the wrong bill, something, that I need to fix because we've made a mistake. Or sometimes we have refunds when we get ACOs from the assessor's office. It helps me correct that because maybe they missed a deed or something like that. And the same one is kind of the same lines. It gives me the ability to waive penalties and interest if there's an error. So if we made an error on something and I need to go back and waive the penalty because we didn't apply the payment to the right bill or something like that, I can fix it. And the last one allows me to do a judicial and rem tax sale. So that's the type of tax sale. We've done one. If they haven't paid their taxes and they own a lot of property, so let's say their tax bill is they owe us like 5 or 10,000, but they own 300 acres. So obviously we cannot take 300 acres for that. So it allows me to go to court before a judge and they section out a part that would be worth what the taxes are worth so that we're not taking all of it. So that gives me the ability to go up and do that.
Questions for Nicole? Good job. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I'm so sorry.
All right. County manager report, Joey.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. A few items tonight. Wanted to let you know that the Emergency Services Department received a no-match trauma grant in the amount of $6,221. Just letting you know we received that money. There was no action on that one. Also, proud to announce that our Finance Department has once again earned the Government's Finance Officers Association Certificate of Achievement for Excellence in Financial Reporting for our annual comprehensive financial report for fiscal year ending December 31, 2023. This certificate of achievement is the highest form of recognition in the area of governmental accounting and financial reporting, and its attainment represents a significant accomplishment by the government, by Dawson County and our staff. And I want to thank staff for, once again, I think this is, if I'm not mistaken, the 17th year in a row they've received this recognition. To put that in perspective, the Apple iPhone came out 17 years ago. But we're really proud of them. We kind of almost take it for granted that we get this recognition every year, but it's not a give me award. And I just want to thank our finance and all our finance staff for working on that and getting that recognition. Next, I wanted to just a note that we are accepting applications for medic-only positions. There's been a lot of discussion in recent months about staffing at the fire department. This does not require any budget action by the board. It's not new positions, but it's currently to be the positions we've had in the past have been paramedic and firefighter. We're making some operational changes that we can accept a medic, paramedic only type position. We think there's some interest in the hospital community, that people just are more interested in being a paramedic, but they don't necessarily want to be a firefighter. So we've had to do some operational changes for that, but we are in the process of advertising that to help with our staffing. This is a new initiative. We haven't done this, to my recollection, before in our organization. We are, I do think this, I do applaud the fire department and the management. This is definitely an outside the box type initiative that we are willing to try. Again, it will take some scheduling nuances to make it work, but we're going to go for it. And we do think there's some folks interested, and we will be recruiting heavily for that position on our Facebooks and websites and at the hospitals directly and job fairs and whatnot have you. Just wanted to make the board aware of that and make the public aware of that. And finally, just a brief note, Stiles Park, I think there's an item on the agenda in the voting session tonight, but work has actively started on Stiles Park. There is some grading going on. The trail contractor is as soon as the weather gets a little better, he got delayed by some weather a few weeks ago, but he should be starting any day now. But we've already started the parking lot. A lot of moving parts, but I am determined that park will be open June. So we're working hard to get that done. I just want to give you an update on that. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Questions of the county manager? County attorney report.
Mr. Chairman, I don't have any public report to share. I do understand that we may have a need for an executive session during our next part of our meeting.
Okay. All right. Thank you, ma'am. That brings us to the end of our work session. We'll
I'd like to propose we move some of these to the consent agenda, if we can,
the three.
if we can consider. The ones that I had noted was item 1, and these are
Okay,
not,
for next time, yeah.
for next time, yeah, these are not funding bearing. Item 1, 2, 3, 6, 9, 13. That's it.
Move those, and we can, y'all good with moving those to consent agenda for the next meeting?
Is it cost to us? Is ACCG not paying for that? Not that also to the consent agenda?
Yeah, yeah.
There's no money involved.
Yeah.
8, okay.
Yep.
So we got all those? Everybody got that? Got them? All right. All right, good job. All right. So those will go to the consent agenda at our next meeting. All right, so with that, we'll take about a 10-minute break and we'll be back for the voting session. Thank you for your attendance.